Okay, great. I'm really excited about my guest today. He has a company that works on AI for decades and a really interesting company. But Ohad Greenshpan, welcome, and your company Wandz AI, very interesting. But even though I kind of gave a brief introduction, why don't you talk a little about your history, what your company does, just to give our audience some context.
Great. So first, thanks for inviting me to this podcast. Sounds really, really interesting. All the episodes that you told me about. Yeah, Wandz.ai actually was founded 10 years ago under the name of Namogu. We started with a product that detects client-side distractions on the users' browsers through extensions that show all kinds of pop-ups and coupons and cashback and all these things that were not served by the retail and e-commerce clients or digital businesses online. They come from the end user side. So businesses are actually blind to it. So we started from that. Over time, or in order to do that, we developed many assets in order to run efficiently client side, in order to detect things online, in order to read what's there on the user side, on the browser side. We learned how to detect fingerprints or footprints inside the browser and everything. Over time, or during COVID, actually, we expanded our vision to go even beyond blocking and removing distractions to actually predicting and activating visitors. So we acquired one company that developed a prediction engine that predicts the user's intent and time of abandonment, and based on that, delivers real-time promotions online. The second one developed a very powerful email and SMS capabilities. So we acquired that in order to go even beyond the .com to off session, off site. And together we took all the technologies that we built, and in April last year, we rebranded the company, we branded our vision, expanded our vision to Wandz.ai. Wandz.ai today provides the first, what we call adaptive CX platform. What is adaptive CX? We understood that although it's 2025, as you know, you know businesses that were there for decades, as you told me before the call. Um, Technology is very mature today, on one hand. On the other hand, if you look at retail businesses, e-commerce businesses, even the most sophisticated ones, they don't have a clue about the customers, about what they're doing online. Usually, the more sophisticated usually focus on the 5% logged in users, customers, or 10% logged in customers that they know. But what about the 90% that are anonymous, first timers, non logged in? They just browse and they treat them as general users, and it doesn't make sense. So although it's 2025, still all the interesting information data is not really there. It's not being collected. It's not being like organized in a way that you can take action on it, and action is not being taken. So we understood that visitors just browse online, they land on the site, they do things happen to them, they're being shown content, they react to content, things are installed in the browser, they do things, they're going to do things, but the website remains static. It doesn't make sense, right, in 2025. So we are now starting a revolution, and we work with like global brands that are market leaders to change this reality, and to transform the customer experience that is not sophisticated today to adaptive. What does it mean, adaptive? Adaptive means um, taking action, real time action, based on the visitor's past, present, future. What does it mean? Let's say Dean did something 2 minutes ago, or yesterday, or 5 seconds ago. You want to take advantage of it and you want to react to it. I'll give some examples. If Dean is doing something now, let's say marks text on the website and does Command C or Control C, going to leave to a competitor in a second to buy there, right? So you want to understand it, you want to take action on it before Dean is leaving the site. C, future, if Dean is going to do something in 2 minutes or in 5 seconds or tomorrow or next week, you want to take action of it, take action on it before it's too late, right? Because if you wait, maybe Dean will not come back. So what we enable is we built an in Wandz, we built an adaptive engine that collects all the data, past, and present, has a predictive element, AI, we'll talk about it, I believe, that predicts the future, surfaces all the data in real time, and provide a connectivity to all the third parties that you are running as a retail business or digital business or fintech, whatever it may be. And we bring our own, what we call user activations. So adaptive search, adaptive interaction, adaptive campaigns, adaptive A/B tests, adaptive this, adaptive that, in order to allow you to capture the data in real time and take action on it in real time. So that's kind of
Yeah, that's
the
actually
evolution, and we'll give some examples, I believe.
pretty interesting. And I mean, how do you, I guess you kind of have to, does every industry have to profile their different customers so that you, through your predictive engines and what course of action you take? Because I'd assume you want to like change the user experience for that profile, but you gotta have to build that in advance, right? Or like, how does that work?
Yeah, it's a very good question. So, first, it's funny when we talk to clients, they say, "We are different." No, you're not different. So, because your customers are not different. So, there are things that are global, right? For example, I'll give you an example. Visitors with ad blockers installed are better shoppers in any website. Why?
Yeah,
Because that's the reality. I don't know why. I don't know how to
yeah.
explain it.
An attribute of a, yeah,
It just that's what it is.
yeah,
Uh, Visitors that have password savers installed. I mean, we don't have access to the passwords, of course, but just by knowing that you have a password saver installed tells us that you're going to buy in a higher probability than me that I don't have. Why? Because you have a tool that will allow you to cross the checkout or the login that I don't have, right? So password saver is global, ad blockers is global. Visitors with fast internet and CPU, they buy more. Why? Maybe because they have more money to buy a better computer or internet, and they buy it. We don't care why. We don't deal with the why. We just do correlations. So there are things that are global. There are things that are specific. For example, if you have affinity for jeans or affinity to that or affinity to party dresses or whatever it may be, there are things that are relevant for a specific industry and there are things that are specific to a specific business. Um, what we build is a generic framework that at the end of the day, AI is not magic, right? ML is not magic. At the end of the day, what AI, ML, data techniques do, they connect a target outcome to data, right? So I don't care if the target outcome is buying, subscribing, returning, joining loyalty, searching. You tell me what the desired outcome is. And if I have the data, the only thing I need to do is I need to label, I need to have history, I need to have data, right? So I run on the history, I label visitors to true or false, whether it's subscribing, joining, loyalty, whatever it may be. I just need to know who is true, who is false. I need to have data, and I need to build generic frameworks that connect, that that know how to infer the connection between data and target outcome. It's like I'll give you an example from the physical world. By the way, We'll talk about the wall, I believe, behind me, but it's all about inspiration. So a lot of inspiration that I take comes from the physical space, right? So imagine that you're a salesperson. Okay, I'm training you to be the best salesperson, right? So I train you in a store in New York City, right? Many people come to the store. Over time, you're being trained and you know how to find visitors that are serious about buying, right? You look
Mhm.
at what they wear, you look at how they look at things, you look at their behavior, you look at their eyes, you look at their patterns in the store. And experienced salespeople know how to smell, right? How to
Yeah.
smell if someone is serious about buying and what he's going to buy and when is the right time to do it. Let's say I train you in New York City. Tomorrow I'm sending you to London. You'll have a good sense, right? How to, although it's not, they're British, they're Americans, but still, if you're a good salesperson, you would know how to, of course, with the variations, right, of the British population, but you will know how to identify the serious visitors. Over time, you will learn because you will try and fail, right? You will say, you'll try and you'll see that he or she was not serious. You will fine tune the model, right? So that's exactly how machine learning AI models work. They work with feedback loops. So they try something, they learn from feedback. And if you have good data and you have good frameworks, then you can do it. Even though it's we can today provide value to clients on the first minute that we've never been deployed on because we've been deployed on so many other clients and we've seen so many patterns. And of course, things improve while we fine tune on your business. But we managed to provide value right away because good models are good models and they know how to provide value from the first
Yeah,
minute.
that's great. I mean, that was really good. The physical, like that example that I can really relate to that. And so, are you training? You have one model, and then do your clients get anything specific built on top of your one model, or how does that work? And
Good
like and
question.
a follow and sorry,
Yeah.
one follow-up question. Like it's amazing how like we use account-based marketing systems at Infragistics, and it's kind of amazing how you have intel on they're showing intent on a subject out on the internet, and you do one set of marketing to them, and then you try and bring them into your digital properties, and you do another set. So do you guys do that too? Do you guys pull data in from the internet of intent out there? And anyways, maybe that's two questions, but I was just curious.
That's easy to talk about, but good, very good question. So the first one, we provide our clients, first we built a generic framework that allows you to do anything. So that's kind of the base. Uh, we understood over time that, some clients, we work with, clients that are the best in the market, but some of them are super sophisticated and have the capacity and have the data teams and engineering teams and product teams. Some of them have less capacity. So, and we wanted to build something that will be applicable to all. So, what we built it in layers. So, we provide for the less sophisticated ones, let's call it, or the ones with the least capacity, we provide the ability to just take our black box models. That's kind of the first layer. Let's say probability to buy, probability to abandon, probability to reach cart, probability to subscribe, to join loyalty, whatever, anything that is relevant to your online. We have around 15 templates that you can just import. You don't need to train even models because if you don't have the capacity, we don't want you to force you to do it. But you just import our black box model. Let's call it the global. We call it industry models. Let's call it the best purchase prediction model. Okay, let's call it.
Nice.
We have many of them. We have like 15 of them. You can import it. The only thing
So now
that you
you have
need to
15 of them because they're domain specific or B2B or
uh,
B2C or
no,
like,
it's like generics. It's like a prediction to buy, prediction to subscribe, prediction to join loyalty, prediction to
I
search,
got you. Different attributes, different models for different
for
intent.
different like stages on the journey, on the
Okay.
customer journey. It's all online. It's all the only .com. like
Okay.
online. You can just import it. You don't have even to train it. The only thing that we need from you, and we do automatically, you need to tell us how to measure the model. Let's say prediction to buy, you need to tell us how we identify someone who bought. Usually is someone visited the URL slash order confirmation or slash thank you or slash receipt or whatever it may be. Because we're deployed on the online, we are there. We are there on the target. So we know. So we know who reached the target with true, who reached the target with false, and we have all the data. So we can. This is the only thing that you need to tell us: how to identify if someone reached the destination. Let's say bot or something like
Okay.
that. And then you just publish the model. The model will not train. It will be like it's a model. It's an interesting concept because it's a model that was trained on other sites and measured on your site. Okay, so there's kind of a disconnect between training and measuring because we trained somewhere and we are measured somewhere else. But it's good for businesses that just want to either they don't have the capacity or businesses that just deployed our code on the site and they want to get value today and they don't have the time to wait for a model for data to be aggregated and everything. So they just want to launch something today, they can.
So let me ask you, so if you went that, which is like the least investment of time and money, sounds like, what kind of improved business outcome do your customers experience with that implementation?
Yeah, so it very much depends. By the way, we have two additional layers. Maybe I'll just finish them and then I'll go
Sure,
back to
sure, sure.
the question. So the ones that just want to take like a black box model, they can. Below that, or a bit more sophisticated, you can take one of our templates, let's say probability to buy, prediction to purchase, whatever, all of these, and you can train them on your data. It takes around 20 minutes for a model to train. We invested a lot in making it very, very fast. You need to have some data, let's say 1 day of data or 2 days of data in order to we need some history in order to learn something uh, or 3 days of data or something like that, but in 20 minutes you have a model trained and
Wow.
then you can publish it and go live
So so
usually what
so you have these base models that are already
does
doing what you said, but and then is
and
that
then and then and then you can
reinforcement
also do
learning or is that fine tuning? Like how would you
okay
describe that 20 minutes
very,
of
very
training?
good question. So you build it once. And then once you publish it, when you publish, you can, it's a very good question. We built also an infrastructure for automatic retrains. Why do we do that? For drift, to deal with drift. It's a very common topic in data.
Yeah.
How do I make sure that the model is always best?
Yes.
Because data changes, right? I change my website, behavior is changing, my visitors are different and are changing, and we need to be adaptive to that. We talk about
Yes.
adaptive. So what we do, we built like a scheduler that always you set whenever you publish the model, you say, I want to retrain the model every X days. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever. And you define the window for training. So let's say when I publish a model prediction to purchase, it's being trained on the history once, you publish it, and then you say, I want every day to look back 7 days. The system will automatically build a better model or a new model that will compete head to head with the one in production.
And
And
isn't that too often? Do you think that's too often to train it or like
you define, but
okay.
what we usually recommend is in the first few days, do it every day
Okay.
because new data is coming. After like 14 days, 30 days, you can train every week. You don't need to train every day because again, nothing will happen because if you have a good enough window, you train every day, you look 14 days back. So usually the days are overlapping. So it's not a big deal. But usually we recommend at the beginning to start with the black box, then train a new model every day, Over time, you can go to every 7 days and look back 30 days. So you can just make it a bit wider. So this is the second layer. The third layer, for the more sophisticated ones, we because it's a generic framework, we allowed you to build custom model because we don't really care what the outcome is, what the target is. You can build any model you want. You can say probability to return a product. We don't care as long as we know how to identify the ones that are returning a product. In that case, someone visiting a web page slash return a product, something like that, or QR code, whatever it may be, customer support or whatever it may be. So basically, with the three layers, we allow businesses to either take the black box or take the template, run them, train them on their data, or build some crazy things that they want. I mean, with this generic framework. So
So when they build it themselves, they're software engineers and data scientists. Is that third layer where it requires that skill in the company?
actually, no. It's a good question, but we um, built the product for non-developers, non-data, non-SQL,
Oh, okay.
non-data data
Oh,
teams.
wow.
So you usually we work with product teams. Why? Because they're usually the dreamers. They have an idea of how to improve the experience online. I mean, product managers in e-commerce and usually in digital or retail, they are the ones that are in charge of improving the experience online.
Yeah.
So they have an idea of how to improve the search. They have an idea of how to improve the loyalty, or they have an idea of how to reduce uh, abandonment because of out of stock, as an example. So they usually have the dreams, right? And
Yeah.
we provide them the technology to make it come true, and we build it in a way that does not require any engineering or data. I mean, they need to know, let's say, if they want to build like affinities and things like that, they don't have to know even data, just keywords and glossaries and things like that. But if they want to build prediction models, usually we teach them, usually ROC is a very good metric, or accuracy is better for that, or
Did you
recall.
say RO? What's ROC? What is
It's
that?
like when you, again, as we mentioned, the um, ML or AI is not magic, or it's data, statistics
Right.
at the end of the day, right? So when you're trying to predict something, you need to decide how you want to measure yourself. What's more important to you when you measure? Is it accuracy? Is it recall? Is it uh, another function that I forgot the word. It'll get back to me in a second. So, what's more important to you when you measure yourself? What mistake is more harmful for you? Is it okay? Let's say if I said that you're gonna buy, is it okay that I make mistakes? Sometimes I would say that you were gonna buy and you were not, or is it that important? And I want to make sure that when I say that you're going to buy, I'm going to be correct, right? So what's more important to me, the missing, or actually the two parts are missing, right? Missing someone that ultimately bought, or missing the other way around, right? To say that you're going to buy, but ultimately you're not going to, you haven't bought. So we have all these functions that define what's more important for you, to be as accurate as possible, or to have the least, let's say, recall, or the biggest coverage when you say that someone is going to do something.
And what's like the business impact of that? So if I'm like, okay, I don't care if you get it wrong that you think they're gonna buy, but I want you to do something, or I really care. Like how do these product managers think about their tolerance of error?
Yeah. So product managers, and actually any like e-commerce, retail, and actually any business online, they measure themselves with tests, experiences, right? They have some idea. whether it's related to prediction or whether it's related to changing a color of a button, doesn't really matter. They have an idea, they have an hypothesis, they have a KPI, like a function that they want to maximize or to test, whether it's conversion rate, the portion of people that will buy, or the revenue per user, or a retention rate, or returning a product rate, whatever it may be. And then they test it. They split the audience into test and control. They measure the uplift between test and control. If it's positive, they continue with the positive. Usually they roll out the solution. If it's negative, they cancel the test and they try something else. So this is how they work.
Okay, yeah.
In that case, our predictions are only a supporting tool and also our activations as well. So let's say we are predicting if Dean is going to buy or not. And based on that, we do something. So we split the audience into test and control. Not the prediction, but we predict on anyone. But
Hmm.
usually we predict and we do something, whether it's adaptive search, whether it's adaptive A/B test, whether it's adaptive promotion. I'll give an example in a second. And then we measure like they measure, actually, like they measure anything. I'll give you an example. One of the clients that we work with, Abercrombie and Fitch, they are amazing, 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 by the way. They had an hypothesis, a very interesting hypothesis that um, so if you go to any website, okay, any website, it applies to any website today. On the homepage, you get like huge messaging with clearance and promotions and discounts and select styles and whatever, anything they market on the homepage. What's the problem? 50% of their traffic, sometimes more, they don't go through the homepage. They don't go through the storefront. If you go to the physical space again, they go straight from Google Shopping, from Facebook, from Instagram, from ads, any kind of ads. They go straight to a jeans category or to a specific product, or they go straight to a category or product page.
Hmm.
Not they don't go through the
Makes
homepage. So
sense.
they miss all the messaging, all the promotions, and all the messaging that you have on the homepage. They just don't see it. So they came with an hypothesis. They said something smart. They said, let's take the visitors that land on the product and category pages and and are predicted to abandon. Not everyone, because we don't want to bombard everyone with messaging, but only the ones that landed there are predicted to abandon, and to them show a pop-up or a modal or overlay with the messaging from the homepage, because they haven't seen it. They just landed
Yeah.
there. But only the ones that are predicted to abandon. And let's see what it does. We did it, and going back to your question about the impact there was crazy. We've shown to this audience that we did the test on around 50% uplift in conversion and revenue. So
Wow.
50% more revenue just by showing
Amazing.
like the basic thing from the homepage. But the art here is, I mean, the magic here is not to show it to everyone. You want to show it to the right people. And also, you need to do it at the right time. Maybe not on the first second, maybe 10 seconds afterwards. You need to be selective with timing, with who, with where, and when. Uh,
Yeah.
if you do it right, you can reach like crazy numbers.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's about customer experience. I mean, yeah, if you start popping stuff up and they're still trying to discover which genes they like, but maybe not. Yeah, so it's like it's very,
Imagine you go to a store and then you see like a huge poster in front of you.
yeah, you're like, wait a minute, I'm
Yeah,
still looking.
exactly. But sometimes, for some customers, they need it, right? They want the advice. They want the salesperson to come to them and say,
How do
"Oh,
you
you have a jeans. It's the second floor."
how do you know they're gonna leave? Like, I don't, I mean, how do you know?
Statistics. Going back to the salesman
Yeah,
analogy, how does someone know if someone is going to leave the store? They smell, right? They know. Sometimes they're wrong, but in the majority of cases they're right because they
there's a
they
pattern and yeah. But how much data do you need to train it? Do you need a lot of transactions to train it or a lot of data? Like you talk
So
about training it all the time, and then one
yeah,
other quick follow-up question, like, do you only deal with do you work with mid-market companies or only, big enterprises or like like who's your, it'd be interesting to know who's your customer base?
a good question. So the first question, we don't need data at all because today, by the way, once deployed is deployed on 1.5 billion unique monthly visitors
Wow,
because
so
we're
you have a
deployed
ton
on,
of
yeah,
trained models.
tons of, yeah, exactly. So we trained.
Yeah, your
We
models are
yeah,
trained.
yeah, models are trained, and we know patterns of every e-commerce business how it would, and we
That's so
don't need,
valuable. So
exactly,
valuable.
we don't need to know the business. We are trained, already trained. So we don't need your data. You can use our black box model, and it would just work. Maybe not as tight as a model that was trained on your data, but over time you will deploy models that are trained on your data as well. So it's not this
You get
or that.
both.
Both, exactly. So that's regarding the data that's needed. Regarding our clients, basically we can provide value to any business, but as any company needs a DNA, like a target market. So for us, we work with businesses that are making $50 million and above, all the way to, we have businesses that sell 20 billion dollars a year. So for
Online. This is all
the mid
online
mid market all the way to the top five
enterprise.
top five retailers in the US. So
Yeah, that's amazing. So I guess Gen AI never really impacted you guys, or how is Gen AI and these bigger models and some of these free models on, I don't know, did that actually change how
uh,
you guys are building, or you guys probably already invested so much in your own models it didn't? I don't know. How did that impact you?
I think Gen AI, it's a very interesting topic. I think it impacts every person, maybe not every person in the world, but it impacts everyone. It's hard to say that it doesn't impact any business. I think any business is impacted.
Yeah, and I mean from
Okay,
like your own framework, engineering, product, like
yeah,
I'm sure
of
you're
course.
adding features, but like did it affect your own models or no?
Yes. So yeah. So no, I think from us, from our perspective, the impact was more psychological in a sense. So we have clients that are, because of all the craziness about Gen AI, they look for technologies that have AI in them. So some of them on the other side of the spectrum, they're just afraid, terrified of everything that deals with AI. So for some of them, I need to say, listen, it's AI. We are our name, our brand name is Wandz.ai, and they said, yeah, but we need to go through security. I said, listen, AI for us, in your case, is only a name. It's like two letters. But some of them are so terrified because of it, because they're afraid that their data will leak
Yeah,
to Microsoft and Amazon and Google and everything. Some of them are afraid that it will make decisions for them, and it's not the case. So it's more psychological. In terms of the data and training and predictive, in our case, it's more like ML, what used to be called in the 80s ML, but now it's AI. But I
yeah.
just tell my clients,
We've invested a lot in ML.
it's like bullshit. It's like
Yeah,
AI, ML, data, statistics. It's all the same. There's no real
yeah,
difference.
yeah.
Like,
Thank you.
yeah. So that's that. But we actually built more. Of course, it impacts us as a business because all our developers and us and everyone in the company is using AI to do
Yeah,
many things, right? To code, I'm sure that you know,
yeah,
to code, to do customer support, to generate content. So we use AI as a business, of course, but that's unrelated. In terms of the product, the models are not AI. They're built like more like ML. They are built based on data and targets, and it's like a XGBoost and regression and classifiers. You can call it AI, you can call it ML.
yeah,
But what we built something interesting that reminds me something that we discussed before prior to this call. Because we have so much data and because we saw the hunger of our clients to get answers to their questions, what we built inside the product a section that you can ask questions in natural language. Let's say, like we talked before the call, like how many of my customers have affinity to black jeans?
Yeah.
Uh,
That's
how visitors with ad blocker installed converted in the last 14 days, and
yeah. Awesome.
how it is versus the site average, something like
Yeah.
that. So you ask in your own language. We don't run it on ChatGPT. We don't run it on the internet. We transform it into SQL command. We run it on your data in an isolated environment, and we get back the results from your data, from our database, from your data, and we transform the answer back to natural language. So we use the AI to understand your question, transform
Right.
it into SQL, and then
Yeah. Perfect. Perfect.
perform back. And by doing that, we allow you to ask questions about your data. So, and we don't not only that, but we also provided the ability. We also understand in which format, visualization format, you want the result to be. For example, you say, show me how it was done the last 14 days. We understand, we train the model to understand that you're looking for a trend graph. Sometimes you ask about portion, percentage, things like that. So we understand that it's pie chart.
Yeah.
So we understand the
Yeah. Good.
question, we understand how you want to visualize it. And sometimes you say, give me an example of a user that does something. So we understand that it should be like a table, like a log.
Yeah.
So we built a way using ChatGPT, using Gen AI, to ask questions on your data, but it's an isolated environment and get answers. So some of our clients say, I don't want anything related to Gen AI, so we allow you to turn it off, this capability. But most of our clients, they want to ask questions about their data and they want to get answers, and it allows them to become much faster because they don't need to know SQL, they don't need to
Right.
know Python, they don't need to know schemas and where the data is
Yeah.
stored.
Perfect.
They can
Yeah.
just ask in natural language and get answers, and they can evolve much quicker, much quickly
Yeah.
than before. And they can come up with ideas for tests, and they can run experiments, and they can ask the Gen AI. We call it generative insights. They can ask, show me the trend of this and that, and how my experience impacted this, and they will get answers. So we do use Gen AI also in the
Sure.
product.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, but yeah, the idea is to use it smartly.
So let me ask you this. So you run software teams and you've been building ML and AI and models for a long time. Like what's your point of view? Kids should, should kids still study computer science?
It's a, I have three kids myself. I have 15 years old, I have 12 years old, and I have 8 years old. And it's really hard to tell. I mean, if you look 10 years back, um, the world was different. It was different because of many things, but also because of technology. So, in my point of view, I think so. It's less about the computer science. So to me, I have a computer science background. I did my I haven't graduated, but I did my PhD in computer science. So also my bachelor's and masters. To me, in computer science, the ingredients is how to take a big problem, how to design, how to break it down
Hmm.
to things, um, is the understanding of math and statistics, and the ability to not to be afraid of anything. So I think the people that like you that build things, whether it's technology or whether it's something else, they're not afraid of building and trying. They look at a problem and they know how to build things in order to solve. So I think computer science will evolve
Yeah.
over time. I think you hear the CEO of NVIDIA that says that computer science will be gone, and there's no reason
Bad.
why to do that. I don't think it will be gone. I think it will just change. To me, the most important thing is to be, maybe it's not the topic for the data, but is to be hard worker, to be inspirational, to be creative, like the wall behind me. So to be creative, to be hard worker, to be persistent, to be bold,
Yeah.
is more important than computer science, because today is computer science, tomorrow is data, tomorrow then it will be like a AI expert.
Yeah.
To me, like computer science is only a tool, but I think it does have the ingredients that are important to solve things, because you're trained to take problems, break them down, build something.
So important what you said.
Experiment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So my answer would be study computer science because it teaches you to say what basically you said. I agree with everything you said. Critical thinking, systems thinking, innovating, doing it a little different. It's not going to have to be done the same way. That's where you get innovation, but you're understanding the outcome. And these are important skills that you learn, some of the tools of math. So, once you're a computer science, you can know 20 programming languages. It's not about the language, it's about applying it as a tool.
but it's about the profession. It's about
Yeah, and so I personally don't want to discourage all these kids. That would be a really bad adverse effect, AI, if kids are not studying this. Like I worry about that. So I
yeah,
just want to
yeah,
share my point of view too, because I'm advocating, no, no, no. There will
yeah.
be developers, you'll have better tools, you'll do more, but it's still that learning process, or
Yeah,
that skill.
you need to join the movement. You not to
Right,
be thrown out of the movement. I agree.
right.
I agree with
Part
you.
of the movement, but it's like it would be I think the a disservice to everybody if we're not studying. Like, oh, I don't need to be a math. I don't need to study math or physics. The AI knows everything. No, no, no.
Yeah.
There's like,
At the end of
yeah,
the day, you go to the grocery store. You need to handle, right? You need to know math, because
yeah,
math is important. I agree. I
yeah. We
agree.
just don't want to dumb down society and all these future engineers, whatever discipline or scientist. It's like, yeah, be part of the movement. You're going to leverage all this, but I worry about that. That's why I asked you the question. You're part of it. I'm part of it, and
Agree.
I think some of these CEOs of big tech are making some false claims. I was talking to this private equity guy the other day, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we have this big guy on our board," and he goes, "Well, where there's smoke, there's fire." I'm like, "Yeah, well, you have Nadella saying, no more SaaS apps. Just put an AI layer in front of it, and you have the CRUD backend database. That's all you need." Really?
Yeah.
No, 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 no. You work for these big companies. There's so much data. It's a friggin' mess. And
Yeah.
could you imagine like you're just gonna like tell the AI to gen yourself, gen me an e-commerce site with CRM and accounting? No, 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 no.
By the way, it reminds me, my partner and I met at the airport someone that said, I can copy any business and I can tell the AI to build this business for me.
Yeah.
I said, good luck. If you can teach him how to deal with all the things that we deal with, good luck. But
Yeah.
yeah, AI is not magic. AI can do only so much, but
Right.
it cannot build businesses. It cannot solve like hard problems. That you need people at the end
Yeah,
of.
and the thing is, yeah, it's advancing and it's amazing, and you can leverage it as a technology, but it's don't believe all the hype because we need smart people studying these disciplines to, like, even I'm sure even on your team, they may not even study computer science, but they studied math or physics, but yet they were taught to think a certain way to solve problems, and that's useful, and that's so valuable.
Important for criticism. It's important for creativity. I
Yeah,
mean, you need to understand. You need to know what questions you should ask the
yeah.
AI. And if you ask dumb questions, you will get dumb answers, right?
Yeah,
So
no doubt. So before we wrap up the interview, I was loving that you're a musician and you told me your wife's a musician, which is amazing, and your background's so cool. I mean, like I don't know, like when you meet people that are building stuff or in software and then they're musicians, it's like an amazing thing. I don't know. Do you want to share anything about music or musician or anything on that topic?
I think for me, it's just a part that is complements my my life. So I think it's just a part that has that's different than building technology. But I think we discussed it also before. I think it has so many elements that are so much the same, right? Creativity and breaking something down and repetition and evolution and taking something but modifying it and making it interesting. Also,
Yeah.
technology needs to be
Amazing.
interesting. It needs to have a good story. It needs to have good marketing, right? It needs to be perceived well on the other side. It's like music, like a good song.
Yes.
So yeah, if you look at the ones that I have here on the wall behind me, John Lennon and David Bowie and Kurt Cobain and
Love it.
Liam Gallagher, they're like
Love it.
amazing. They're genius.
Yes.
So to me, it's always amazing how you manage to create something, even if it's a few tones, right? That millions or tens of millions of hundreds of millions of people hear it and they recognize that it's yours and they love it and they fly 10 hours to hear it. It's like amazing. It's like
Yeah.
so to me, it's very much it brings me a lot of so much happiness and
Yeah.
for me the way I drive to work every morning I I also wear like not now, but rock T-shirts, like all kinds of pop and rock T-shirts. So I have many, many, many of them. I select the one that I have the mood for in the morning, and then I drive to work with the Spotify playlist of the T-shirt that I'm wearing. So
Love it.
whether
That's
it's
awesome.
Beatles, whether it's Queen, whether it's Red Hot Chili Peppers, and it colors my day, right? So
I
if I
love it.
Chili Peppers, I come to work in a different mood, then Queen, then Beatles, and David Bowie. So
I
this
love that intention. I love that intention and that it's yeah, blending emotion, intention, music, and then I'm sure you do it because then you go to work that week, you're building something cool because with that intention, like you're intentional about your mood and your music and how you show up. I love
it,
it.
tur-
That's cool.
it turns out different because you're in a different mood. So you
Yeah,
create. It's all about creativity.
I
I
love
agree.
that. I haven't never heard of that. I love that's cool. I love it. Good job.
Great.
Yeah, that is cool. Well, it's been really, really interesting hearing about what you guys are building. And if people want to get in touch with you, how can they learn more about your company and get in touch?
Yeah, I think so. The best thing is like our website is Wandz.ai, Wands with a Z, like a magic wand. So we
Okay,
give businesses the magic wands. So Wandz.ai. My personal email is ohad at Wandz.ai. Happy to be in touch to discuss, brainstorm, you name it. So always happy to speak to interesting people.
love
Uh,
it.
love to get in touch.
And show up with your favorite like band on a shirt when you come chat.
I promise. I promise.
Awesome. Thank you. Really
Great.
appreciate it. Great
Great.
interview.
I enjoyed the discussion. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Great. Thank you.